Hi everyone. This case study is going to be actually a follow-up to the first case study that we did. And remember, that was where the gentleman had that huge elevation and that amazing shift off to the side. So go back and look at the first case study so that you can see the comparison. So this is basically about about 3.5 weeks as a follow-up. So we just saw him yesterday, and was feeling good. Had a little bit of a setback, but through the day actually was feeling quite a bit better with his low back pain. Just feels more, the way he described it was more just sore and tight. It didn't have that pain anymore. Obviously with the first session we saw him, he had really acute pain, could barely move. He has full range of motion now. He could literally bend over, touch the floor. He's got great function, but again, it's mostly just kind of feeling like the soreness and just kind of heavy feeling in his hips and his legs. The other thing was the load. He was still feeling, when I saw him yesterday, he was still feeling about a 70% right, only 30% left. And even that was even though you'll see the improvements. So with the deviations that I saw with this most current session yesterday, he still had a little bit of rotation left to right in his pelvis, and he had a little bit of a lateral shift left, so that when he was standing, his pelvis was shifted to the left. It was a combo though. It was a rotation left to right, and it was a little bit of a shift left. So I went a little bit different than the rotation program, just because I've worked with this gentleman before, and I kind of know what was happening. But one of the things in his gait pattern was at left hip extension, his left side of his pelvis wasn't anterior tilting. It was just kind of locked into place. When we got done with this program, it was significantly better. So check out the photos of the after, and you can see there's such an improvement, which is really cool. And then when we got done, he felt really loose, which was awesome. So basically what I did was I started with kind of the go-to exercises. We did the knee presses, and then we did the knee squeezes. Now I was doing that again because that's using gravity. That was going to help reduce the rotation. Remember, your legs are up, you got gravity pulling down. That's helping everything start from basically a clean slate. We did some reciprocal inhibition there with the AB and adduction with the first two exercises. Now from there, this gets a little interesting. I went into a hip flexor stretch, more of a deep hip flexor. So I had him do the groin stretch, and you'll see the picture of that. He got really tall. I didn't have him go really deep into the stretch. I just had him get really tall, and I had him tuck his pelvis under, and that was the groin stretch that we did. I had him hold that, and that was more just to literally just to elongate the whole anterior chain, get a little bit of glute function, a little bit of lateral stability because it's a half kneeling position. From there I went to the cat and dogs. That's like a yoga move where he's on his hands and knees, sways up, sways down through. And that was just to get some of that lumbopelvic rhythm going as his hip went through internal and external rotation. So that's actually a good question for you guys. And I want you to actually post on the thread here. When someone goes into a round position, like a cat position, where that's kind of that hump, what does their hips do? It's either they go into internal rotation or external rotation. So when they round up like a cat, what are the hips doing? Are they internally rotating or are they externally rotating? So go ahead and post that on the thread. So again, I did that just to kind of get that rhythm going. Then I went into the one-legged drop, which is that calf stretch, and I did that to get the contralateral paraspinals to engage. Remember we talked about the one-legged stance at the certification, and what happens is you have the opposite, or the contralateral paraspinals should engage to what's happening with the stance leg. I had him do his right leg first, and I ended on his left leg. So I wanted to get the left to make sure we ended where he went more anterior tilt on the left side. So again, when he did that calf stretch, when you're doing that, you're going to go into an anterior tilt position, and you're getting that release. So that was pretty key with him, because when we got done with that, he definitely felt better, felt a better range of motion. From there, we went into prone, some hamstring curls. Now on this one, I had the pillow between his legs, or between his feet rather, and had him just do the curl. So I was trying to do some reciprocal inhibition to the hip flexors by getting the hamstrings to activate. He was holding the pillow, and that was getting the lateral or the deep stabilizer muscles of the hip to engage. but as he curled up, he was going into anterior tilt. As he lowered, he was going into relatively neutral or posterior tilt. Remember, when we talked about that certification, I had everyone lie down with their legs straight and then their knees bent, both supine and prone, and we went over, okay, well, what's happening with the tilt of the pelvis? That's another prime example. So when he was prone, we did the curls. We're going off that lumbo-pelvic rhythm again while all those muscles were stabilizing. And then finally, I ended with a we call a counter stretch. That's where his hands are against the wall. He's basically trying to kick his butt up in the air so he feels a pull in his hamstrings. But more importantly, he's getting from thoracic all the way down to lumbar extension. So all those paraspinal muscles, everything's working as he's getting a release in his hamstrings. And again, when we got done with that program, as you're going to see from the pictures, it was quite a difference. And subjectively, I mean, he felt great. He felt loose, and it was just a really good program. The other thing, as far as weight distribution goes, he was about 50-50 when we got done. So instead of having that 70-30 right to left, he was about 50-50. So on this case study, I want you guys to really get involved with this, ask questions. This is why I developed this member site. It's for you guys. I want you guys to take advantage of this. This is a incredible learning opportunity, and we could all just share our thoughts with that. So make sure you guys use that to your advantage, and stay tuned for next week when I'll try to come up with a new case study. I like doing the follow-up, so just because you could see before and afters and just see how they progressed with it, because we are sending you guys those progressions. So. Good luck, guys, and keep me posted, and hopefully you're all doing well with your own case studies.